Hi, I'm Joe Ramsey. This is Ben Otero here on Movie Mania. We're going to be talking about Commando. This is going to kick off our three-part. It's our Schwarzenegger episode. It's a three-part action series we're going to be doing, covering some of the biggest action stars,
such as Sly and Bruce Willis too.
That's right. Yep, we're getting ready. All right. So first of all, let's go ahead and the plot of Commando. It's taken in the 1980s.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, obviously Taken came after that, but there's so many 80s references. Roughly the same plot. Pretty much Taken in the 80s.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I want to point out the music of this was fantastic.
It was. The jazz guy was going a little crazy.
I don't know who was playing saxophone, but man,
he was going nuts.
He was. I
loved it.
And honestly, I kept waiting and those airplanes, the movie Airplane stuff where they do a lot of parodies. I kept expecting at one point that they're going to show Schwarzenegger, and then the camera's going to pan, and then the guy who's playing saxophone is going to be there. Yeah, because that's all he did is just followed him around and played.
Everything he did. Like, I could imagine in the world of Commando, he's taking out the laundry or something, and the saxophone going.
And they wasn't even just saxophone. There was tons of 80s songs and everything like that through the whole thing. The very last song cracked me up to no end. I don't even remember what it was, but I just remember laughing so hard at it. This is the classic Schwarzenegger film. I know you said this one and another one are the
Predator.
two you think Predator.
Yeah.
Those are the two that you think of whenever we.
I feel they define Schwarzenegger and his career.
Exactly.
Like,
they have his mannerisms.
Exactly. His accent. He doesn't have to hold it back or anything.
The crazy,
he's right there. He's like,
the crazy action.
Or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly.
He's right there. Yeah.
And I know a lot of people are going to watch this and they're expecting for us to do Predator. But I want to point out, first of all, to a lot of people that we're not going to do it right now.
Yeah.
We're saving that for something
later. For the
later.
Predator series.
We're going to save it for
I'm going to get really hyped, and
we'll see.
Yeah.
What did you think about the cast? I personally, really, really hated the sidekick. The woman that was always around with him.
Yeah.
Like the flight attendant.
I felt she could have been replaceable by anybody. I almost wish she would have been replaced by nobody and just.
That's what I was hoping. I would have preferred Schwarzenegger by himself. Granted, he needs somebody to talk to. I get that.
You could talk to the saxophone guy.
You could talk to the saxophone guy. But she had nothing.
It was really bad.
The only thing I can think of is she helped him escape from prison. And as far as
by almost killing him.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, and that's what I kept thinking about. She shoots a rocket launcher into the back of this police vehicle.
Not in the front, in the back where he
is. Like, I see like flames engulfing it. I'm like,
and
wait
he just rises up out of the fire to even lift. It's ridiculous.
It was crazy. That was by far the strangest thing I've ever seen.
But that's part of the charm, because he's almost indestructible in these movies.
Exactly. That's the thing.
When he ducks behind
this is why
bushes,
it's so classic. They throw every situation at him, and he gets out of all of them.
What's really funny to me is if when he's shooting the guys and he ducks behind the bushes, like at the final fight scene. The bullets are going through the bushes, but
nothing hits. I'm not convinced because every time I watch these movies, I feel more out of shape. Every time I see one with Arnold Schwarzenegger, I have no doubt in my mind the bullets were hitting him and just bouncing off.
I don't know about that, but
I think that's what's happening. I honestly do. Yeah. How else do you explain? He's just in random gunfire everywhere. He's not getting hit by anything.
Throwing saws.
He actually was shot in the movie.
He was.
At the very end of the movie, he gets shot by Bennett.
Oh, I thought you meant in real life.
No.
I was like, wow, okay. It was shot by Bennett.
Yeah.
Which starts the greatest knife fight in history.
That was a good knife fight. And that
made no sense because Matrix, John Matrix.
Yeah, his name was Matrix.
He was twice Bennett's size. He's ripped.
Well, his arm was shot too. He didn't have like a right arm.
Still, he has all that weight on him, and then you have Bennett who has like this fishnet, whatever.
It was like chainmail.
It was so creepy.
Yeah.
It was just really bizarre.
He was such a weird and flamboyant character. He had the Australian accent.
Yeah.
So it was Australian versus the Austrian.
The Bowie
thing.
knife, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, the crazy knife, and I thought he was awesome. I thought he was a great last fight, not compared to who Bennett was working for, who was, I guess, what a lot of people thought was the big bad. Bennett was it because he was from his own unit.
Yeah,
and it was Commando versus Commando. I love that.
Yeah, and I think he stole every scene he was in. With his flamboyance, like you said.
Yeah.
It was just ridiculous.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. If you had to give this movie a rating, what would you give it?
I'd give it a. What would I give that?
Any final thoughts?
This.
Too, by the way?
Any final thoughts? Like I said, Bennett is just a timeless character, iconic, really ridiculous in every way, shape, or form. I think I'd give this movie a 7.
7?
7 or an 8.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I also believe that. Commando is probably one of my favorite Schwarzenegger films.
Yes.
It's definitely up there. I know a lot of people didn't care for it. When you look at a lot of ratings, it was rated kind of low, but I loved it. I thought it was we're right now in the action thing. We're right in my comfort zone. This is where This is where
you could stay.
I know you're the horror guy. I know, but I love action and comedy.
You just want to stay there.
This is my cheesy '80s thing. So I'm gonna give it probably a 9.
Okay, I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was good.
It's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm Joe Ramsey. That was Ben Otero. We were talking about Commando here on Movie Mania.